Good morning, everyone, and welcome to a Wednesday morning with Constance Howard, aka Connie. I'm an executive coach. I'm so happy you're joining me. And listen, there's a little glitch at the top, um, but don't worry about all that. uh, I am not technically the best person. So we had a little glitch, but it's all good now. All right. So tell me, where are you joining me from? Are you in the Washington, Maryland area, or are you outside the area? I would love to know. Let me set my stuff up so I can see your comments. And just tell me where you are watching me from so I can welcome you in. Um, I am so excited about what I'm going to share with you today because it was an aha moment for me, and I wanted to share that information with you. But first, again, tell me where you're from. And if you're a first time viewer, welcome. I hope that you enjoyed today's episode. If you're coming back to me, you've been here before, then thank you so much for your support. I appreciate that as well. Okay, let's get started. Um, I want to talk about something that you may not connect with each other, um, and that is silence, absolute silence, and your confidence and your ability to hear your thoughts and get to know who you are. It's in the silent moments. And for me, as I said, it was an aha moment. And I don't mean like I was shocked by it, but I found it very interesting, and it wanted me to expand the times that I have with just me. No devices, no TV, none of that, right? When's the last time you didn't have your TV on? You didn't, um, you weren't, um, listening to a podcast. You weren't running after people. You weren't listening to conversations. When was the last time you just had pure silence? You and your breath. Put it in the chat because I would love to know. Um, Hi, I'm getting Jason. Good morning. Thank you for joining me. I appreciate it. I'm so happy that you're here. Um, Put it in the chat whether or not you've had moments of silence, because even though silence may feel awkward, it's where you learn and discover who you are, and you discover your power as well. So I want you to think back on those moments. Now, if you say that you haven't had many moments where you felt comfortable being alone, listen, I understand. I ran from silence. A lot of you know I spent nearly 40 years in TV news, and I was always surrounded by TVs and a lot of noise and commotion and that sort of thing, just because of the environment. So I never had a chance to kind of turn off. So, in the moments that I did, it felt just awkward. And my mind would race and fill with a whole lot of other stuff, like past conversations and what I should have said, could have said, that sort of thing. Put in the chat if you can relate to that. And I would just, my mind would go off into so many other directions. I couldn't calm myself down. And I understand, that in the times when I was able to kind of turn off, I felt guilty about it because I thought, well, there's so many other things that I should be doing. Let me know if that's happened to you. Um, yes, Jason says it helps with stress. Yes, it does help with stress. And that's the whole point of why I want to talk to you today, because about silence, is because it does help with stress. It helps you, as I said earlier, to get to know who you are, and it builds your confidence as well. But as I said, I struggled with it, and the moments I had when I was quiet, I felt guilty about it because I felt like there were other things that I should do, that I, you know, I shouldn't be wasting that time. And I know for a lot of people who have demanding careers, especially women who have demanding careers, women who are caregivers and moms, and you're always on the go. And there's always someone who needs your help. You feel guilty about taking time for yourself. And the world also requires or demands our attention. There's always something that's going on. And if you never create space to hear yourself, to listen to yourself, then you lose touch with yourself. Your voice gets smaller and smaller. And as I said, it was very difficult for me to be quiet. I, in fact, had to take a course on mindfulness and on being still, and not being afraid of that small voice inside me speaking up. And so I took a course, and that's when I really realized the value of being silent. Now, it was difficult at first. I was several sessions in before I was able to really let go and to stop running. And I feel like that's what I was doing. I was running from myself. I was running from um, some of the decisions I knew I had to make, like leaving TV news. You know, I was always on the go because I didn't want to face some of the tough questions I had to answer in my life. And that may be the case with you. You may have some tough choices that you have to make. And being silent is difficult for you. It's kind of like there are moments that the 3 a.m. The 3 a.m. conversations, what I call it, when your eyes open at 3 o'clock in the morning and it's just you, and there's no more running. You have to face whatever it is that you're avoiding. And I also think that now, when we have so much uncertainty in our lives with the economy and with politics and all of that stuff, your mind is constantly racing, and you don't you're not thinking clearly because your mind is racing, because all these thoughts come up and you're not thinking them through clearly. And there's a lot of fear out there. There's a lot of fear and uncertainty and anxiety. And more than ever, now is the time for you to be able to um, tap into your inner source, go silent and hear your thoughts, separate what is real and what you can do, separate clarity from unclarity. And you can do that in the quiet moments. And I know a lot of you know that I'm a Christian, and so it's in those quiet times. And I know someone has put in the chat as well, it's in those quiet times that you hear from God. The viewer says going quiet allows you to understand who you are. Sometimes God places you in a place of silence, and that is so true. And it's also the place where He speaks to you as well. Psychologists say that spending time in silence, lowers your stress and anxiety. It improves your ability to focus and to make really good decisions. It strengthens your creativity and it builds your self-awareness. And I have to say that I experienced all of those things. Now, um, you may think, okay, that's a lot to ask of me in my busy schedule to spend some time in silence. But I want to encourage you to start small. So you don't have to start your practice of silence with, a half hour. I did not. I could not. If someone had asked me to do that, there's no way that I could have done it. So I started really small, and that's what I'm encouraging you to do: is to start small in your silence practice. Maybe take 2 minutes. Take 2 minutes by yourself, and you deserve those 2 minutes. Don't feel guilty about it. Find a place where you can just be by yourself. And don't worry about what you're thinking about. Don't worry about the thoughts that are coming up. Just focus on your breath, or focus on a candle, or get something that you can zone into, right? So that it takes up your concentration, and just spend time there. You're going to find that it's in those quiet moments that you learn more about yourself. Um, don't, as I said, don't fight your thoughts. Right? Don't fight your thoughts. Just concentrate on your breath, maybe a prayer or a chant, um, and do it consistently. And what you're going to find is that over time, it's going to be easy for you to fall into these moments of silence where you are just with yourself. And as you start small, you can expand the amount of time that you spend in silence. Right? There's so many people and so many psychologists who have done studies about silence. But Mother Teresa once said, in the silence of the heart, God speaks. And another quote I found is that the quieter you become, the more you can hear. The quieter you become, the more you can hear. The more you can become familiar with what your voice sounds like and what your thoughts are. And I know in this busy world that we're hearing so many voices, it's hard to know what's your voice. What are your thoughts? What are your feelings? As opposed to what everybody else is saying. And that's the value of going quiet, is that you hear who you are, you hear your voice. You fall in love with the sound of your voice, the sound of your thoughts. All of that happens in silence. And if you would give yourself the gift, I'm going to say it's the gift of silence, um, you will find how much it will enhance your life. The viewer is asking me, what difference has silence been in your life? It made a lot of difference, because I was always hearing everybody else's voice about what I should do and what I could do, especially when I was coming to the end of my TV news career and I wasn't sure what my next step was going to be. I heard a lot of chatter, a lot of noise, a lot of opinions, right? A lot of comments about, what I should and could do. And sometimes those comments made me feel less than. It made me feel guilty about walking away from a career. But inside, I knew that I had to walk away. And so it wasn't until I got quiet with myself, and really tapped into what it was that I wanted and what it was that made me feel good about me, was I able um, to garner the strength to walk away from a 40-year career. I can only encourage you to give this a try. Just take 2 minutes, schedule 2 minutes out of your day to be with yourself. And what you're going to find is that, yeah, it's going to be clunky. It's going to be clunky in the beginning. I'm not going to lie. It's going to be tough, right? But over time, and over a short period of time, you're going to find that you hear more um, from you about you. You're going to gain clarity. you're going to gain power to make decisions that perhaps you've been struggling with. Uh, Here's what I found out. The best, well, I won't say the best, because sometimes the conversations that we have with ourselves are not good. But the conversation that you have the most is with you. You are always talking to yourself. And it's not always good talk. So sometimes you have to steal away and quiet all of that chatter that's going on and just tap into who you really are. That's your first step in building confidence. Not only confidence, but clarity and power. So I want to encourage you today, take 2 minutes. Take 2 minutes and just be with you. And I want you to put it in the comments. If you're watching this on replay, put it in the comments and let me know what you think about this, because I would love to know. And if I can help you in any way, just put that in the chat and I will make sure that I follow up. And while I have you here, hit the button to subscribe and click the bell so that you'll be notified when I much for joining me. Have a good day, everyone.